Simon, Michael, a pleasure to be speaking with you both. First question, Michael, besides how are you, does anyone get to call you Mike or are you Michael to everybody?
You could call me Mike. You could call me Zegen. It's actually
I swap them for me.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm good. It's all they're all my names. So whatever you feel like. Yeah, Mike, Michael, Zegen. I'm good with whatever.
Zegen.
Spike. I used to be called Spike in fourth grade.
Spike.
Yeah,
All right.
that
In-
was
in-
short-lived.
Jersey?
Jersey. Yep.
Yeah. Sounds like a Jersey thing.
Yeah.
Well, Simon, throwing it to you here, how did you and Michael first connect?
I actually was introduced to him through another actor that's in the film, Michael Cavino, who plays Jed, and I think you guys shared an agent.
Yeah, we
shared an agent, and Mike Cavino. There's a lot of Mikes in this movie.
He's Mike. I'm Michael.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, exactly. There was on board, and I was having trouble finding the perfect person to play this part, and I think it was a bit of probably a pipe dream to I think you were just kind of at the height of Maisel fame, so
Yeah, I was
didn't think
too
it was
famous,
No,
so-
but I just think it was really hard for a first-time director to kind of get. It's one of the biggest shows on TV ever, so it was a big deal for me, and Cavino really helped introduce us. So.
Well, we're going to come back to that in a second,
Okay.
but Simon, did you know outright that you wanted to direct it after writing the screenplay?
I did, yes.
He's a director. I mean, that's what he that's his passion.
Yeah, for sure. That was never in. There was nobody else that was going to direct this.
Well, sometimes you find that people go, I'm the person to write this and produce this.
Sure.
Or I want to delegate the whole thing so I can get a second thing off the ground at the same time and not have to deal with the directing.
Definitely. I know I have a lot of friends who are kind of just writer, producer hats only. I'm probably too much of a control freak,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word.
Definitely, yeah.
And I just, I see it a certain way, especially when you write it. I think you see it one way, and you, as the director, when the script comes from you're trying to get as close to that image that's in your mind's eye as possible. And I think that's the answer.
That is a fantastic answer. And something that I noticed that both of you have in common is having so many New York related projects, but it's always gritty, non-pretty New York. Have you noticed that?
No, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is beautiful.
Not really.
No?
If you look at some of the apartments that you're holed up in, the organized crime, the bad nightclubs.
Okay.
the shittiness
They're
that's
pretty
on-
beautiful, though.
I get what you're saying. So it's like the grit of them, but yeah, I think we're looking at the set design.
Oh, okay,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, there's an authenticity to and a rawness, I think, that you're always trying to capture with New York. At least, for me, I'm a transplant. I've been here for 15 years now, but
Yeah.
I still feel like with this movie too, we shot on film to kind of capture some of that slick and grit, and so you could feel the texture of the city. So that was important.
Yeah. I mean, Maisel is, I'm thinking of it, like you said, the sets that were built, because, we mostly filmed in these studios with these incredible production designers. And this, we also had incredible production designers, but they didn't build, nightclubs or anything or apartments. We actually filmed in these empty, kind of disgusting apartments.
But adding to that one, Mike, I mean, Rescue Me, one of my favorite shows of all time.
Oh,
Not
cool.
exactly Happy New York either. Boardwalk
No.
Empire was like borderline Jersey-ish, but also not Happy New York. And then, looking
Right.
at your stuff, Simon, How to John Wilson, one of my favorite recent shows, not exactly the happiest New York either right there.
You're right. You called us out. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I was just one of many, field producers on that show, which is an amazing thing. So
The cool thing is, especially about this movie, is that I feel like, and I felt like this from the time we started filming, was that this is the kind of movie that you can look back on in like 20, 30 years and see the city, for what it was, kind of like Dog Day Afternoon or Midnight Cowboy, those classic New York films. And I felt like, especially because we filmed on 35 millimeter, that we really got that.
Yeah, we captured. I mean, we canvassed the city. I mean, we shot in all 5 boroughs. I mean, subways, taxis, buses.
Yeah, we stole a lot of shots.
Yeah, we stole a lot of shots. Park, bridge. I mean, everywhere. I mean,
Roosevelt Island.
Yeah, we had
Roosevelt Island.
I forgot about
in
that.
an abandoned hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, I know which hospital that is.
Yeah.
The other side of the bridge right there.
That's
Wow.
right.
Mhm.
So to, answer rhetorically, all of it was filmed in New York. This wasn't an Atlanta set showing New York in any
No,
part.
No.
Nothing. Everything was on location in New York City. Every shot of this movie.
Well, that's fantastic. But another fantastic thing is you proved me right that comedians are amazing actors, hence Robert Klein.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whose idea was that casting? Because he's not done a lot of dramatic roles.
I think you in the intro.
Yeah,
'cause-
I had met him years ago. He came to a play that I was in with a friend of mine who's friends with him, and we went out to dinner afterwards, and that was, I mean, that was like, 10, 12 years ago, and that was so thrilling because I was always a fan of his. And so when I remember we were talking about who could play this father character, and he just popped up in my head, and so I contacted my friend who contacted him, and he said he'd do it.
I was a very lucky benefactor of that relationship because he's amazing in the part.
He was so good.
He was so good.
By the way, he knew all his lines. He's
super sharp. Didn't miss a beat of anything.
And I've worked with older actors before, and the fact that he came fully prepared.
It was a long day too. It was like a 13, 14-hour day, I think.
Oh yeah.
It was a big day, and he was really. He never lost a beat. Yeah.
No, and we loved hearing his stories.
Yeah.
He had a good time.
I think he had a great time.
He did.
Yeah. He's really close with one of our producers now, Wyatt.
Oh really?
He would drive him from Bronx to Westchester in the morning. So yeah, it was a real privilege to have him on with us.
Rudely interrupting you. Did I hear you correctly? He was only on set for 1 or 2 days. He knocked it out that quickly.
I think it was
2 days.
2 days.
2 or 3 actually.
Two or if we did
because we
did
had,
the air conditioning shot was the second day. 2 so 2.5. Let's go 2.5 days.
Yeah.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it was 2.5.
It was 2.5. Yeah. We have to move.
Great that comics can act, and going back to the whole rescue.
But he's also he went to the Yale School of Drama, so it's not like he's an amateur or anything like that.
He's a pro.
And he's been in a lot of plays. He's been in movies.
But yeah, for sure. I think he's known for the stand-up and doing Tonight Show stuff in the '70s fame and all that, which is amazing. So, but yeah, I mean,
he'll also be the first to tell you that I think he told me this, that his stand-up special on HBO was like the first one that they've ever done
back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
Did he whip out a harmonica at any part during the filming?
What's that? Did he whip out a harmonica? I didn't even know he plays harmonica.
I didn't know he plays harmonica. No, I don't think so. Not that I know.
No, he didn't. He didn't bring.
We didn't
his
have time
harmonica.
for that. We did move quick with him.
Yeah, we were battling the sun. We didn't.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be like the first rock and roll comic. And I remember that there was a special where he was going to have a blues band behind him. And you don't quite think of Robert Klein harmonica blues, but apparently.
Okay.
Good to know.
Maybe he'll perform at the premiere.
Yeah, see if we can get him out.
So this is a new film to us. It's still not out for a week and a half or something like that. But Simon, are we allowed to know what's next for you? Because face it, new project to us, old project to you in a way.
Yeah, I have. I mean, there's a few projects that I am. Where announcements will come soon. But yeah, there's a few things that have been in the hopper, and we're really excited. For this production company and this distribution company too, which is, this is a kind of self-release, Whiskey Creek, which is, with my partner Gordon Hayward, who's the NBA All-Star, and we have a lot coming up on our slate, and we're very excited looking ahead.
Hopefully there are parts for me.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that was actually going to be the follow-up question, because when we look at your IMDb, Mike, we see some big stuff ahead. The question was, would there be a collaboration with Simon? It sounds like you're open to it.
I'll have to think about it, but
we beat him up pretty hard, but I love it.
Yeah, I am sort of still scarred from this experience, but no, I was for sure. I loved working with Simon. I loved working with this whole crew, and I imagine your next project you would probably get the band back together.
For sure, yeah. I think that's what made this movie special. We had such a kind of tight-knit family pulling something off like this, like an indie in New York, where you're kind of limited resources, limited time.
It was hard. This was hard. It really was. We were dealing with, like I said, the weather. This all takes place over one day. It's supposed to be the hottest day of the year. Some days it rained.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And we were also dealing with Casey Bella Suarez, who's 10 years old, and we had to deal with her hours and her tutoring, and sometimes I'd be acting against she wasn't there, so I'd be acting with a tree. It was hard, but we're so proud of it,
Yeah.
and we're proud to get it in theaters because it was filmed on 35 millimeter. So the goal was to have it on the big screen, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And one question for each of you, and then I let you roam free to the next journalist who asks you the same questions over and over and over again.
Yeah.
First one to you, Simon. So I'm speaking with Casey Bella tomorrow. How did she first appear on your radar?
So we actually, we read a bunch of different kids. So we had like kind of my casting directors put together, I mean, we might have had over 100, 200, I don't have the number, but at least a couple hundred kids that had submitted for the part. That's the truth.
200, 300, maybe 100.
It was like, I remember,
was a
they
lot.
were just coming in constantly. But I mean, I think I said this the other day to you, the second Casey came on screen, I didn't even need to watch the end of the tape. I can't really describe that feeling, but when you know, and it was, there's Anna. And it was just, that was it. And, when I met her in person and we talked more, it was confirming what I felt. So that was
fantastic. The last question going to Michael. Big fan of Maisel, as everyone in New York is. When you have a role where a line is said at you a lot of times, the rest of your life when you're a known actor, people use that in public. I'm curious if people call out soups to you all the time, that people try and offer you soup all the time.
Soup? Why soup?
What soup is it from?
The whole character just kept getting yelled soups that his mother had available in the last 2 seasons of the show.
Wait, what? My character?
I'm trying to think too. Soup in your mom in the show. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, with my mother, Caroline Aaron.
She just kept saying, "Joel, we have chicken noodle soup." And
that right. No, mostly people just call me Joel. Not Michael, Mike, or Zegen. They call me Joel, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of Joel online on our we have the trailer running, and there's a million comments for Joel.
I was walking down the street 2 nights ago, and this girl, she looked at me and smiled, and she goes, "Joel," and you know what? I'll take it because at least they love the show, and Joel isn't such a bad name. It could be a lot worse. I could have been Boner from Growing Pains. So at least it's not that. Yeah, I'm just Joel, which is great.
Well, thank you both for your time. Congrats on Notice to Quit, and really looking forward to both of your future projects, even if it's not in gritty New York.
Thank you.
But it
very
is,
much.
unfortunately, yeah.
Paltrocast.